Hey everyone, and a very, very Merry Christmas Eve to you. While we're all waiting for the big day, I thought we could unwrap a different kind of story. The story of a man we think we know so well. We all love him, right? But trust me, how he came to be is, well, it's way more surprising than you'd ever guess. So, let's dive in.
Oh yeah, you know this guy. That big, jolly, white-bearded man in the red suit with that little twinkle in his eye. I mean, he is the global icon of Christmas, no question about it. A symbol of pure joy, of generosity. You see him, and you just know what time of year it is. But here's the thought. Was he always this guy?
I mean, really think about it. How did this specific image become the one we all know? The truth is, the Santa that lives in our imagination is this incredible mix of real history, ancient folklore, and, believe it or not, the story of a young, growing nation. So yeah, let's find out. Where did he really come from?
Okay, so our first stop on this journey, it's probably not where you think. We're not heading to some ancient, snow-covered European village. Nope. The Santa Claus that we all picture in our heads is, for the most part, an American creation. Yeah, really? Born and bred right in the 1800s.
It all kind of kicks off with Dutch settlers in a place they called New Amsterdam, which of course we now know as New York City. They brought over their traditions, and one of the biggest was the legend of Sinterklaas. That was their name for St. Nicholas. And you can probably hear it, right? Say Sinterklaas a few times. Sinterklaas, Santa Claus. It's pretty easy to see how one became the other.
So the 1800s, this is when his modern image really starts to lock into place. It all starts in 1823 with that poem we all know and love, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." That's where we get the jolly old elf and his whole team of reindeer, with all their names. Then jump forward to 1863. A super influential cartoonist, Thomas Nast, starts drawing Santa for everyone to see. And by 1897, he felt so real to people that a newspaper actually had to write that famous editorial confirming, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
And we really can't overstate how huge Thomas Nast's impact was. I mean, this guy gave Santa his address. He was the one who put him at the North Pole, even calling it Santa Clausville, NP. He's the one who kept drawing him with the sleigh and the reindeer, making it official, and over something like 20 years of drawings, Nast is the one who took that tiny elf from the poem and turned him into the big, warm, jolly guy we recognize today. It's incredible.
But okay, this American story didn't just pop up out of nowhere, right? To find Santa's, well, his ancestors, we have to go back in time and across the Atlantic. Because long before the American Santa Claus, there were these older European figures who really set the stage.
And here they are, his two main European predecessors, side by side. So on the left, you've got the Dutch Sinterklaas. He looks like a tall, very serious bishop, right? And then on the right, that's the English Father Christmas, who's this much more rowdy figure of holiday cheer. You can see they look totally different from each other, and, well, pretty different from the guy who visits us.
And they weren't just about looks. They stood for really different things. Sinterklaas, he was directly based on the real St. Nicholas. He was this solemn figure who brought gifts to good kids. Father Christmas, though, he wasn't really about gifts for children at first. He was more like the spirit of adult partying and good times, often even wearing green. So the American Santa we know, he's basically a mashup of these two totally separate traditions.
Okay, but we can go deeper. We can go back even further. Before all the legends, before the poems, before any of the drawings, there was a real person. A real man at the absolute core of this whole story. So let's peel back that last layer and find him.
So take a look at this. This is a depiction of St. Nicholas of Myra from the 13th century. It's a really powerful image, isn't it? And it just goes to show how far the story has traveled. It is a world away from the jolly man in the red suit. But this is where it all started. St. Nicholas was a real guy. He was a bishop way back in the 4th century in a place called Myra, which is in modern-day Turkey. And he was known for being deeply religious, but what really made him famous was his absolutely incredible generosity. The most famous story about him is how he secretly left bags of gold for 3 poor sisters to use as dowries, which saved them from having to become prostitutes. And it's that act, that secret gift-giving, that really cemented him in history as the patron saint of children and, you guessed it, the original bringer of gifts. Wow. So let's just recap. We've gone from a 4th century saint in Turkey to a Dutch bishop to an English party spirit and landed on a 19th century American icon. That's a wild journey. But the big question is, why? After all that change, why does this story still have such a powerful hold on all of us? You know, maybe the best answer comes from that newspaper editorial we mentioned, the one from 1897. The writer, Francis Church, he basically said, look, Santa isn't just about whether a guy in a red suit is real or not. It's about the best parts of us. He said Santa exists in love and generosity and devotion. And those things are just as real, just as powerful as anything you can physically touch.
And that idea still hits home, right? It's so true. There's a TV producer, Jonathan Meath, who also happens to portray Santa sometimes, and he put it perfectly. He said Santa is this rare thing, a male cultural icon who doesn't carry a weapon and is all about peace, joy, giving, and caring for other people. In a world that can get pretty complicated, he's just pure, simple goodness.
So when you get right down to it, Santa Claus isn't just one thing. He's all of it. He's a real saint from history. He's a mix of old European spirits, and he's a story that was shaped and perfected by American writers and artists.
And maybe that's the whole point. Whether the story is real in the literal sense doesn't really matter, does it? Isn't the real magic the way he brings us all together? That feeling of generosity, that sense of wonder, that spirit of unity he inspires in all of us, especially tonight. From all of us here, have a truly wonderful and a very, very Merry Christmas.